Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Darick and Logan.
Hello, and welcome to episode 221 of Flesh and Pod. My name's Logan. I am your host. With me, just a day late.
And but $1 short.
Dollars long. You were working this weekend. You got paid to do stuff.
I mean, I haven't yet. Don't jinx me.
Oh, fair enough. Is the Hall of Famer himself
still has a timeline, sir.
That's true. That's true. God, net 30 terms are the worst. As our Hall of Famer, Darick Oswald, you didn't do anything in Flesh and Blood. I know that, but because you were casting Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah, I mean, the closest thing to doing something in Flesh and Blood was when I was on my breaks, I came down to check in on the Flesh and Blood event that was going on there in Milwaukee. I did get to see Brandon and some other folks, so like that was nice. But obviously I didn't get to play myself.
Well, sure.
And then I was also checking in. It was funny because like Star Wars, if you're not familiar, their regional championship for Secrets of Power was this weekend. That's what I was casting. And then when I was on my breaks, I was going downstairs to check on the Riftbound event because there was a 5K, and then there was a Flesh and Blood event that was a 5K, and I knew people playing in both events. So even though like I was covering the other game, I was also like trying to root for friends and whatever, and I knew people who at least like got in the cash for both. So hooray.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. It wasn't exactly difficult to get into the cache of the Flesh and Blood event. But
don't take that away from Brandon, okay?
I'm not taking it away from anybody. What I am saying is 3-3 got you to cash. But at any rate, as a reminder, we do have a giveaway going on right now in our Discord, on BlueSky, and on Twitter for entry into the Nerd Rage Path of the Pro Tour event on March 14th. So if you haven't gone and found that post or gone into the announcements channel and placed a vote on in there, just all you have to do for the Discord is go into the announcements channel and click the, what did I fucking call it? I'm going. Yes, that's the thing. There are 5 days left as of right now on that, and from there we'll draw a winner, and that winner will have free entry. So you'll get an entry for voting there, an entry for retweeting and on Twitter and liking the post, and for reskeeting and liking the post on BlueSky. I don't have a better word than reskeet. I don't know what to do.
Skeet.
I knew you were going to do it. Reminder of what the event is. There's a 5K Silver Age Path to the Pro Tour event. So basically the same as a showdown, in all honesty. PTIs to the top 2, gold foil to the winner. There are tournament packs for participation. So basically the full LSS sponsorship suite, as well as a classic constructed ProQuest on Sunday. Yes, I know a lot of people will have already cashed in their invite to the Pro Tour, but still, you can go there for the 5K, hang out and cheer on all of us who have not collected a Pro Tour invite, and come see us. We'll be there. Well, at least I will. Darick, I think, is in limbo. I don't count on Darick being anywhere until I physically lay eyes on him.
That is legitimate.
Including on the podcast, including like on the show.
All signs point toward me being there. It's just, I don't know in what capacity. I will say that I emailed people again earlier tonight. So I was trying to prod folks so that I could give you a more definitive answer sooner.
Well, sure. Because I've got to book like accommodations.
Right. I know. That's why I was saying, I know you need to know. So I was poking folks, doing my best.
Okay. Poke away, I guess. But
look, I was gone for 4 days. I deserve it.
You deserve to poke people after being gone for 4 days?
Mm-hmm.
Can't argue with that logic. we did get the results in of ProQuest week 1, which is Silver Age is the first 2 weeks. I'll actually be playing in a Silver Age ProQuest on Saturday. Yeah, Briar continues to be the face that runs the place. A little bit of a hat tip to our friend AJ Styles, who got some good send off on Raw this past Monday. Good for him. But 50 wins, so 31% of ProQuest were won by Briar.
Yikes.
That's a fucking number.
Yeah, that is a number. You're not wrong.
Yeah, so interesting. KO had 40 wins at 25%. So 56% of the Silver Age ProQuest were won by either Briar or KO. Think our benchings are getting a little clean right about now. Dorinthia with 16 wins and Kano with 13 are the only other two that are in double digits. But this was funny to me. If you aggregate all of the Warrior and Guardians together, you get to 29 total wins, which is nowhere near either KO or Briar. It's damn near not even half a Briar. So,
yeah. Well, so you talk about benching. I had a fun exchange with Lupine Fiasco on BlueSky earlier today.
John.
Yeah. If you're not keeping up with all of the news, earlier it was essentially teased, revealed, announced, or whatever. Blaze is coming to Silver Age by LSS.
We
they
knew
posted about it. We knew it was coming, but
June 5th.
It's official.
June 5th.
And
Raiden being shifted to Rare.
And Raiden for Bolton is being shifted to Rare. And when they did the other announcement for Blaze, they also showed off, a Gravy Bones deck coming as well. And so
the Chapter 3 decks. Yeah.
Lupine had skeeted this summer. I encourage all of you to vote 3B for community benching, Blaze, Bolton, Bones. And then I replied 4Bs because Briar. Like, how do you not have Briar on the list of Bs with the results that have been going?
Now, Briar is a Silver Age Chapter 3 deck, sir. Clearly not that powerful. I feel... I honest to God, because I played my Flesh and Blood this week. I played in my armory to get some of those sweet Gem 4 packs. And so my closest local on Saturday. And then also grinded a bunch of Silver Age games for the benefit of my buddy Josh, so he could play in some various stuff. And he definitely got the memo very quickly that Briar is an absolute fucking cancer. Because it was just, yep, okay, he turned 0 Arcane Polarity twice to gain 8 life, and still died in an avalanche. He's just like, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, nothing. That's the point. That's the problem. Yeah. It's nothing. You have to hope I Runeblade hand twice. That's it. If I don't, well, sucks to suck. And that's it. And he's like, what beats that? I'm like, okay, Azalea. Going tall and making it difficult to play the game with, enough reductions in inertias and other random shit that they do, turning off hero text, things like that. So Azalea does really well. If Kano is rolled up, and Kano can do it, but Kano starts at 15. That's real easy to get to. And there was a chain problem because chain could race Briar. There's no chain. 0 chains.
Yeah.
So, because Enigma feels like they can potentially stabilize, and then again, that whole avalanche of bullshit just crashes down. He also was like, what? Because he'd never seen Enigma before. Like he's kind of just started playing recently. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's okay. So I had it built. And I was playing it, and I was sitting there going, man, am I doing this right? And then I realized exactly what I was doing, because like muscle memory from drafting Enigma had taken over. I'm like, oh, I remember now. The 6 cards in my deck are 4 chi and 2 other things, and nothing matters anymore. All I'm doing is making 2 spectral shields and, being an asshole every turn. Like, that's all I'm doing. So, And I had 4 auras in play. So this game is effectively as over as a game can possibly be.
Right.
And so I was like, yep, I remember now. Okay, great. So Enigma's another one. I'm surprised that Enigma didn't do better this week. I mean, yes, abysmal Briar matchup. Like, not good. And KO's rough too, so maybe that's the why. But against a lot of these more fair decks, I think Enigma's quite good. Just my own personal take.
You're not allowed to have a personal take. How dare you?
Oh, well, I guess I'll just go fuck off in the corner then. But back to the discussion at hand. Early thought, but who are we benching and what are we banning? I think 2 we absolutely know.
Well, I mean, unfortunately they're both like Runeblade stuff, but for me it's the Runeblade, Sigil, and Briar is like my bench and my ban. So
I think I mean, we're benching Briar. There's just no 2 ways. My problem is we actually have to somehow take a bite out of Chain. Do something to make Chain, because Chain's coming back. Briar will go away, but then here comes Chain. Gotta do something to Chain to make it so that he just doesn't do the exact same thing that he did, to get the LSS ban for Season 0. Like, what can you do? You can't. There are too many Runegate cards. There are too many things that just make Rune Chance. There are too many decent blood. I mean, they don't play that many blood deck cards anymore. Or like traditional Chain cards from Monarch, Shadow.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I mean,
Shadow.
It's not just Seeds Fest,
Right. Well, because that's banned. But what can you? I don't even know what you can do to make that deck, to take a bite out of that deck. I'm just not sure. Mordred Tide. I mean, Movrian Skies. Like, what are we doing?
The answer is probably Skies, right?
I mean, that's helpful, but it also makes it so that Viscerai becomes even less playable. So I think it's real complicated. Or they have to print something at rare. I mean,
Mordred Tide. Did Mordred try to get downshifted? Isn't that normally a Majestic?
No, that's a Majestic. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It didn't get downshifted.
Mauve's
rares.
Is definitely a rare, and hold on, let me pull it up.
It just gives shit go again and then on hit Rune Chance.
Right. Which is
awesome.
Everything it wants to do. Yeah. Yeah, that's when I think like, yes, that hurts Viscerai as well, but I mean, that's the problem, right? Is that
the splash damage is going to happen no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, you could say some of the Runegate stuff, but then you're hurting Vincent.
Right. And it might just be that the answer is Chain's text is too good for Silver Age. Like, that might just be the actual answer.
Yeah.
But it's hard
I
to
just
say.
think it was too good to begin with. Like, if I'm being entirely honest, right? Like, Chain probably would have been entirely fine if it was instead literally the exact same stuff, but instead of your next Runeblade or Shadow action gets go again, it probably should have been like your next card with Blood that gets go again.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It would be a narrower pool, because the problem with Runeblade or Shadow action meant that all future Runeblade support they gave for all the others just continues to empower him. And if it was Blood Debt, then it would have narrowed the pool. It also would have that, like, risk reward stuff of including it that you were kind of supposed to have with Chain to begin with, yada yada yada. But the fact that Chain, like, all of the Shadow Talent cards forever and all of the Runeblade cards forever, he just turns on, is problematic. And I am not, I'll also say this, I am absolutely a 100% not an advocate for errata, but if there was ever one after Briar that I would pick, it would be that. It would be Chain to cards with Blood Debt.
Or you just print Chain 2.0.
Well, there's that too, but I just mean, like, if you still, like, for scenarios like now with Silver Age, right? If you still ever want this thing to be playable, it probably needs to be something like that in my mind.
No, and I think you're right. I think that that's an option, or you have to print something. Yeah, that just becomes the Chain, it was early Chain hate card.
Yeah, well, but even then, like, I don't know, it would have to be so targeted, but then also, like, that's the only reason I don't like silver bullets, and this is actually the whole reason, like, I hated sideboarding in Magic as a design philosophy in general, was because when you have these silver bullets, and I'm talking,
rest in peace.
I'm old, so for me it's Rest in Pieces, Tormod's Crypts, it's red and blue Elemental Blasts, you
Pithing
name it.
Needles.
But all of that stuff just felt like if I win, or if I draw it, I win, and if not, then I lose. And, like, that's not an engaging experience, and I don't want to have that happen with Chain either. And the reality is again, Chain was very early on when they were in their design for, talents to go with classes and things, right? And I just me personally, I firmly believe that including every card from a class and every card from a talent in the hero text box was just too broad. And if I'm being honest, I think that the only other time that you see a scenario where something like that is a problem, or where it occurred and blah, 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 was literally Starvo, right? Like, it didn't matter that it was, going to maybe be hard to activate. It was such a huge pool that people could just cherry pick the best stuff, jam 15 of each and casino it, and it was still good enough, right? So anytime you have those broad interactions, whereas, like, I think the Mystic Heroes, which, again, incredibly powerful, but at least with that you could see where they were trying to learn from their mistakes. And yes, there was Mystic cards, but the hero text box was all based around very specific cards. Even within the Mystic pool, it was the chi, right? And Chain is like the polar opposite. He's just like, I just get everything for all of time. If it's Runeblade or it's Shadow, I give it go again. That's absurd.
Yeah, it's dumb as shit. It really is.
So I mean, I think you are correct. It is either like he's just too good for the format, period, like forever. Like, they upshift his rarity would be another way that you could, like, explain it away, or it's an errata. And I'm not necessarily a big fan of either, but I would understand either choice.
Yeah, I mean, then the third choice is you make a fixed version of Chain, and that's your legal
you could literally
version.
just call it, like, the Silver Chain,
right,
pun intended.
Yeah. Well,
and it would be for Silver Age, and it could just be literally the same thing but for Blood Deck cards or whatever, and you do it as, like, a small deck package, blah blah blah.
It'll be called Chain Sage Runeblade. There we go. Let's just get all of it out.
That has been, I've been thinking about the whole, like, how do you solve Chain thing, and that's been my biggest problem with it. It's not even the splash damage. It's just that you could probably ban 5 cards and he would still be competitive, because the pool is so broad when his text box says Runeblade and Shadow. Like, that's the crux of it.
Yep. And that was, we had this discussion in a different way in our Discord, which people should join. Links in the show notes, about Aurora, a blank text box Aurora versus a blank text box Briar. Who LL's first? I'm like, Briar. The card pool is enormous. Yeah, you have one that's lightning only, and so you're what you'd have to say if you're arguing for Aurora is that the card Arc Lightning is better than the entire Earth pool, all of it, and Rosetta Thorn. Because if we're taking equal pieces here, we let Thorn be legal. And I'm pretty sure that Briar's better at that point. Like, what's Aurora going to do when it's staring down, Channel Mount Heroics?
Right.
Not fucking much. On the positive note, there were 21 unique heroes that won ProQuest, so that's nice. If you're looking at number of events, roughly 160 events took place. So 21 unique heroes, not too bad. I think that's a good cross section. It's just the top. It's so top heavy. It's just so incredibly top heavy. But I know that the one in Nebraska, I believe, Flattering Showman won that one, but not 100% sure. Moving on from the Silver Age discussion, there was an SCG con. You were there.
I was there
in Milwaukee, as a neat trivia question. From, again, and I can't verify this independently, because I can't see the numbers, but I was told that there were 32 people in attendance, and I'm like, wait a second, that can't be right, because there were 6 rounds. Then I realized that Polish guy Rich,
yep,
was number 33, and didn't make the event due to a sick child, but never got refunded.
Round 1.
And that was Brandon's round 1 opponent.
Yeah, we
was
talked about that.
Was the ceiling fan, Polish guy Rich. And so, as a neat trivia question, if the 32 number is accurate, again, I don't know.
I mean, it looked about right when I was going down to check on stuff.
Then the neat trivia question is, why was a 32-player tournament have 6 rounds? And the answer to the trivia question was Polish guy Rich. But so Brandon Robinson won on Riptide. So cool, great, love it. It was a 5K with PTIs, like full support, similar to what Nerd Rage is going to be doing in Chicago. It was at an SCG con, which, take that for what you will. But that's for a 5K with PTIs attached and gold foils. That is staggeringly low attendance.
Yeah, but so I will also say this, right? Like, yes, it was an SCG con, and normally you're already like competing with Magic when you go to one of those, and they had, a Magic event that was being streamed and whatever there. But this was also, so like at this location, just for clarity, because I did go down. The reason I keep saying go down is you have to understand the way this was. So it was at the Baird Center in Milwaukee, and on floor 3 was where the SCG con floor was. But in that space, like, you had vendors and whatever, but then you had Magic events, you had Flesh and Blood events. They also had the Flesh and Blood Learn to Play like setup for Smash Palace. You had Riftbound events. I think there was
Lorcana, I'm pretty sure.
There was Lorcana, and
there was Vibes.
There was Vibes. Yep. But there's also, I'm drawing a blank now. Let me pull up SCG kind of on the name of the other one, because I've seen it at a few different events.
Warlord
and Wonders of the First.
Oh, Wonders. Yep.
Yeah. So Wonders of the First actually had like a sizable chunk. So I don't follow that game, but it feels like they also had like a sizable thing. And that was just all on level 3. And then up on level 4 was where the Star Wars Regional was. And so when you're talking about like bleeding players, like the Star Wars Regional on Saturday had over 1,000 people just like there for that. And then you had all of the other games covered. So I get it. Like, yes, you want attendance to certainly be much higher than 32, but like, as I looked around, it had about the same market share of literally everything else that wasn't Magic that was on that floor, because there was so much at this one event. I will also say, So with the vendors that were there was the standard, like a lot of vendors that only sell Magic or whatever, and that's fine, right? Like that's
Tales
the
of
SCG
Adventure
thing.
and
But for the other side of things, though, basically for every other vendor that was like carrying other games, almost all of them had at least some sort of Fab singles. And there was one spot that they were just doing Fab and Riftbound.
Okay.
Like just that was it. They didn't have Magic like stock singles, like you name it. They were just there for Fab and Riftbound, which I thought was very encouraging for those, two games to, have a vendor that feels like they can have that kind of presence and do well. So, like attendance was low. I'm not going to say that it wasn't, but from what I saw, it also like wasn't shocking or alarming to me.
So my problem is this. And I think that this is, I think that this makes sense even from the way that I look for things. I really only look at the World Tour page when I'm looking for Fab events, or I drop and look for ProQuests or whatever the season of event is in the event locator. I, honest to Christ, did not know that there was a 5K event in Milwaukee, with PTIs and everything else associated with it until 2 weeks before, where I'd already made plans. I'd already set some stuff in stone, so I couldn't make it. But that, if I would have known beforehand, that would have potentially changed what I did. And I think that's somewhat problematic, where there isn't something front-facing in the FaBTCG mothership event finder that kind of promotes these larger non-World Tour events. Like the NRG is a good example. It doesn't give World Tour points. It's not listed on the World Tour page, but it's giving the same pricing as a showdown. And I've talked to a lot of people when I bring it up. They one of the reasons that we talk about it, going into it, is there's just a lot of people that don't know that this event is happening because it's not front facing. So I think that has to be something that improves at the LSS level, for the growth of the game, for the betterment of the game, because of these other larger scale events that are being held that aren't part of the World Tour. And I understand wanting to make sure that you're promoting the World Tour at a higher rate. No one is saying that that's a bad idea over here. What I am saying is you do have to give run to these other things too, or else this is the kind of thing that happens. They become low attendance, and then because they're low attendance and the TOs are taking a bath on them, they just become hesitant to run anything again, and that's it. So, and they just don't want to do it anymore.
Taking a bath on them is a great way to word that, by the way.
Is it, though?
I think so.
You like that?
Yeah, consider me sports entertained.
Okay. That's my way of saying that I feel like there has to be some way to make sure that the word on these gets out better on the LSS side as well, to make sure that these events, especially when they're not conflicting with World Tour events, are properly, publicized, I guess, is the word I would use.
Advertised.
Advertised
is a good way, personally. But I do feel you. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't know until I got hired to work the event. And I started looking because when I got hired, I knew when I was like going to go in and out, but I didn't realize that the regional was going to be like all 3 days. I didn't realize they were going to have us do coverage for both sides. So for the Star Wars regional, they actually split. You have like a limited regional and a constructed regional. And the day one of the limited was on Friday, and I didn't realize that we were going to do coverage that day. I'm happy we did, because I think limited in Star Wars is a lot of fun, but I didn't know. So I was like, oh, well, what other events are there? Maybe I'll bring some decks and play. And then that's when I saw the event. So I was like, oh, huh.
Right. And again, Milwaukee's not that far of a drive for me. It's, 5-ish hours. That's not that hard. And my first one to me is like, there's a SCG Con has fab events. My thought was, oh, okay, they're running like some super armories and maybe like a little, 1K or something. And then find out it's effectively a showdown.
Yeah.
And
that's a good way to look at it. It was basically a showdown without the showdown name.
Right. As it's like, had I known that it was that would have changed the complexion of my decision making. But even if it was like, again, if it had the Battleground label and was part of the World Tour, even better. I guess that's not even part of the World Tour, but if it would have had the Battleground label, it would have possibly changed things. So there's layers to it. And I think that there has to be some nice middle ground to make sure that these events are better advertised from LSSN, because LSS does a really good job of making everything condensed and viewable. So I can know where the World Tour is going every week and know where there are callings every week with just a glance. And I can know what's in my given area for ProQuest and such, but I don't, if I go to just search my area, it shows me every armory. And then I'm scrolling forever to find anything else. So
right.
I'm not going to do that. So there's got to be something to make it a little bit easier. Do we want to talk about Team Covenant Fulfilled? Because Greg, God bless Greg, I love Greg, but what the fuck? Like, what? I'll give the TLDR. Team Covenant Fulfilled is Team Covenant's doing a distribution sort of thing to help with indie TCGs. And their examples involve things like Warlord and Sorcery, where stores are getting their stuff from distribution and immediately throwing stock on eBay rather than putting it on their shelves for people to actually obtain games and play them. So this is a sort of a way for publishers to vet who is getting their product. Go to Team Covenant's website if you want to read about it. It's somewhat interesting. It doesn't apply to Flesh and Blood at all, like full stop.
Yeah,
but it's there. I don't know what we're supposed to talk about though when it comes to it. But Greg, we talked about it. We did you a solid, buddy. We talked about it. Hope your boat trip was good. I don't have much else. Listener questions, I guess. You think?
Yes,
you think that's
probably.
where we're at? Okay.
I think that's where we're at.
That sounds good. First one's from Sleepy Jackal. The Jackal's back, baby. Hey, I have a question. What the actual fuck is the new Cubs slogan? So the new Cubs slogan for this year, baseball fans, is just brackets that say this. It's shit. I mean, I'm never going to own a this shirt.
Hey.
So.
You know what's really shitty?
The State of the Union address? Or the State of the Union in general?
This?
Okay. Just making sure. Yeah, it's... some marketing fucking genius decided that this was a good idea. Literally. Okay. Moving on. Next one's from Johnny Pastrami, who's actually asking fab questions. Do you think LSS will ever stop being cowards and do a Sage plus draft tier 4 event? And he does say I need to cool it with these fab related questions. Charmer?
A tier 4 event? I don't think so.
Yeah, so if you look right now at social media, please don't. It's just brain rot. But at any rate, you're going to anyway. You're going to find on both all sides, all social media platforms, I guess, except for Reddit, which I'm sure is just eternal bitching. But you're going to find a hyper polarized takes on Silver Age. Nothing real nuanced. Just more of a It's shit. It's great. There really hasn't been a ton of in between. I kind of did want to pull up, and I don't remember what channel it is in our Discord, but there was a good discussion going on with the aforementioned Josh, Muse Josh, and some others earlier. Maybe it was in general. Yeah, I think that this is it. Like, this discussion was really good. And it was basically what he said is, in any other card game's competitive environment, 6 tier 1 and at least 1.5 decks would be an incredibly balanced, varied, and healthy environment. Add in the fact that it costs you almost nothing to get into one of those decks, making it totally reasonable to pick up and play something for a season. And from this new to Fab but long-time competitive card gamers' perspective, Sage seems like a smash hit. So I want to dissect that, because I think that is important. Silver Age right now is set up at an insanely good spot, specifically to introduce players to competitive Flesh and Blood at a price point that matters. And yes, having played different card games for a long time, generally there are 3 real decks and there are 3 pseudo fringe decks that can attack 2 of the 3 real decks. That is absolutely normal in competitive card games. So coming from that mindset, and then you hit something like Silver Age, where you have a definite top, and then you have a bunch of other decks that can win events. That's exactly what competitive card games have kind of been forever. And wide open metagames exist rarely, whereas in Fab, they actually do happen on a fairly regular basis. It's not always the best wide open metagame as far as engagement goes, but if you're talking purely about viable hero options, yeah, it happens a lot where you have anywhere from 8 to 12 viable options to win an event. So when we start talking about it from the perspective of getting people in the door, it's hard to say that Silver Age isn't doing its job.
Yeah. I did see some of the discourse that has been popping up as well about how what was it? There was some back and forth about like the return on investment for this set is the lowest like per box that it's ever been, just because all of your hits are essentially, in the Antiquities pack.
It's abysmal. It really is.
And it really is. But again, like the discourse that was going back and forth is you had people that were like, normally I buy a case of everything and I get much better stuff. And this time it was, awful. And then you had other people like, well, you're also like an entrenched player and this is like supposed to support the budget set. So you shouldn't expect a bunch of expensive stuff in the thing meant to support the budget set outside of a couple of cards. And the rule has always been like singles is king for that kind of stuff. So I don't know what you expect. And I understand both sides of the coin. And I definitely understand from like an LGS perspective, if you're opening for singles, that, if you don't hit those hits or whatever, that's going to feel bad. And then there is the added concern of, what we were just talking about. Like, is this really, ever going to be a large scale draftable set? No. And that's usually one of the ways that you help things get into circulation. So,
right.
I don't know. So ultimately, I don't know how I feel about all of that, because there are pros and cons to all of it. Mm-hmm. And when I did try to like noodle on it for a bit, I couldn't come up with a better solution. And so it's very hard for me to be critical and then also not have like a better solution. Like you could say like put less of the hits in the antiquity packs or whatever. I guess maybe that's it, but I also understand that they wanted something to feel special, right? And they wanted to give the entrenched players a reason to, open it. And at the end of the day, like, let's be honest, card games are gambling and we all love it. And so that's part of the reason that so many people did it. And we kind of only have ourselves to blame as well. That's not to say you can't also, again, be critical of the product. You absolutely can. But I just, like, I see all sides. And I don't, at the end of the day, like, I just don't have a better answer that isn't, just like, yeah, I guess they could have put some of those stuff in the regular packs and just not done the antiquities. And outside of that, I don't know what you change. It was meant to be a set that supported the budget, new player friendly format. It was meant to be a set where, like, the cards you chased were commons and rares, and you don't really have to, like, open boxes and boxes and whatever to get all the commons and rares you need. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, and I think people, again, in this, some of this is how long we've been around it. Because if you think back to to Everfest, if you didn't open the Marvel Starvo or a Skullcap or a Rampart in your Everfest box was a complete loss. It was shit. Those are the only cards that mattered, the only cards worth money. But then 3 years later, all of a sudden, swing bigs are $30. Imposing visages are $20. Swarming gloom veils are $25, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
So right now, you have a bunch of $2, $3, and $4 Majestics, and some that are just pure bulk. Don't get crude, people. That's the key when it comes to supplemental sets. They're not drafted, and they're almost always a one and done on printing. So we know there is no more compendium being printed. We're done. I would recommend that if there are things that read to you as even fringe good in compendium, you buy them now. Don't wait around. You can sleep a little bit on some of the antiquity stuff and things like that, but the staple stuff that you figure you're going to need at some point in time, even cards like Blunton, which are up in price. I mean, I think they're around $10 a piece last I looked. Oh, well, I guess we can do this. We haven't done it in a while. We're allowed to do the price checker. The EA Bluntons don't count because this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen when the price is just jacked up. But Bluntons right now are $14.47, but the most recent sale was $12. The EA Bluntons, which, again, in the US, the price is just astronomically high. Actually, they're down again to reasonable. They're $98.38 on TCG Player. At one point in time, the lowest TCG listing was like $150. It's like, and somebody was like, they're $150. I'm like, no, that's a bullshit price. So that's not real. Don't take it as real.
They're $150. Okay, go get that for it.
Yeah, go buy it. Yeah, or other side of the coin, like, go see if you can get that for it. You can't. So this has come way down. But again, if you are looking for those cards at any point in time, like Cheating Scoundrels are $9. I actually can sort this, can't I? Compendium of Wraith. Yeah, I mean, most of these things are pretty cheap at this point. So, price high to low. Like the E-Strikes are only $25. The EA Channel of Skybreakers are only $20. The Stonewall Gauntlets, like 19. EA Racism is 16. Even the Elemental Strikes are only $3. Temporal Wobble is 7. Fardivores are 3. Sense Weakness is 3. These are not $3 cards.
Right.
So if you want them, buy them. This is what we call a floor. Don't buy at the ceiling, buy at the floor. Just a PSA. It's not financial advice. Just a public service announcement. I've seen this before. But to answer your question, Johnny Pastrami, fuck no, you can't put Sage plus Draft, you fucking troglodyte. No. No. That doesn't work. Those days would be over in like 4 hours. That's not good coverage. Come on.
Yeah. It's also just like, first of all, let's say you draft it. Like, what are the heroes?
Good question.
Right? Like,
good question. And for those of you who need a definition, a troglodyte is a cave dweller, in case you wanted to know. But
oh, I thought it was someone who worships Trogdor, the Burninator.
no, it's a troglodyte.
Oh, okay. My bad.
That's a very different thing. And we all kind of should
just so we're
worship
clear,
Trogdor,
I did
the
not
Burninator.
actually think that. I just could not help myself.
Fair. But yeah, it's if you wanted to do all of the event and not have a day 1 and day 2, then yeah. You could do Sage and Draft as a tier 4 event. But that, again, not real engaging. Moving on, Sleepy Jackal back again. Speaking of Sage, do we think the benching system will work? For instance, Chain and Briar specifically feel like we're eternally taxed into benching them every chance we get, which kind of feels bad at a glance. I don't think I think you're right. I think the benching system will feel bad at a glance early. I feel like there probably needs to be a system of benched X times and you're out for good or something along those lines, because like we spoke about earlier, you can't fix Chain. Like, you'd have to actually errata the card, and I'd rather ban it. I hate errata. But I feel like the benching system, once we're in a spot where the best way to put this, where they've kind of mass applied a lot of the stuff, will work. It's just not now. Like, it's gonna be a bumpy road. Hold on, I gotta kill a flick a bug. So I feel like it will work eventually, but it's going to be a rocky road. And not the ice cream. I knew you were thinking about it. Do you have an opinion? Not on Rocky Road.
Oh.
Shut you
No,
down,
then.
motherfucker. Just no.
I mean, I do think it is one of those things that is going to feel bad at a glance. I think all systems feel bad when they're first starting because they're first starting.
Yeah.
Like, I reserve the right to hold my judgment until, we've been through a couple of rounds of it.
That makes sense. And
I'm a data guy, so like, give me the data and then I'll make the decision. Like, right now we all assume that one thing will happen, but maybe something different happens, right? Again, we don't know what kind of future support is coming. We don't know what kind of bans to the format is coming, blah, blah, blah.
Darick, I regret to inform you that being data-driven and a talking head are somewhat mutually exclusive.
I'm aware.
Okay.
But every time, like, I make a joke about my hot takes, then people think I'm serious, and then that also makes me sad. So I don't know. It depends on the mood I'm in, and right now I'm in a responsible mood.
I still remember my favorite thing anybody ever said about you was Ian Holland talking about Prague, where he walks up to me that night after being out on Old Town Prague, and he goes, "So Charmer was absolutely shit-faced last night." I'm like, "Oh yeah, he was fucking shit-faced. But he seemed like a normal bloke." Yeah, that's Charmer when he's shit-faced. Yeah. What's he like when he's not shit-faced? an enormous pain in the ass.
Yeah, that tracks.
Oh.
When I was at dinner after the final day of this event, I went with the crew. So the people that were doing the like production side included Sam and Richard. Sam actually does our editing and production stuff for Turn 'Em Sideways, and he does it for other live events. He did it for the Vegas thing I did. Richard works for Anu, and he was at the Vegas thing we did. So it was like, people I knew and some awesome new cool people I met. Shout out to Amber and Allie. And so we were all at dinner, and I made this joke about like, hey, if I'm ever not around and you want to talk shit about me, like, it's totally okay for you to do it because I probably deserve it. And Sam goes, actually, the only real complaint I ever have about you is that you just have too much dad energy.
Yeah, accurate. Facts. Co-signed 1 billion times. Dear God. Yeah. You're the fucking worst sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Next one's from Delusian Data Analyst. I'm using Sage as my springboard in Fab. See the conversation we had earlier. If I wanted to try different play styles, fatigue, combo, aggro, tempo, what 4 heroes should I build for each? My main objective is to build fundamentals. Side note, I have 3 weeks to get competitive for the Hunter Memorial Open ProQuest Plus for Classic Constructed. What deck should I learn, and how should I practice to get the most out of my short prep time? Woo! Okay, that's a lot. So let's start with the second thing first. ProQuest Plus for Classic Constructed, and need to get competitive in 3 weeks. What can we do for our guy here?
So if they're trying to build the fundamentals, right, and they want to see examples of the 4 types, my advice would be for aggro, I would say play games on Briar. There are other aggro...
In Silver Age, yes.
Sure, right, that's what I'm saying. So, for Silver Age, I would play games on Briar because, yes, there are other aggro decks, but, like, that's the one that you would also expect to see the most. So at a bare minimum, even if you don't play it, you should know how it functions. And I think the best way to, like, play against a deck is to play the deck because you learn what annoys it. So I would say get games on Briar. On the fatigue side, I would say get games on either Guardian. So I would say like Oldhim. Or any warrior with Decimator. Right, like those are.
I don't want to create more Decimator people.
I mean, I understand that, but again, if you're trying to get competitive, one of the best ways to learn how to beat something is to figure out what annoys it, so you play it. Like, I'm not going to say stay away from the thing that you would expect to see. You should expect to see it in Silver Age. So I would say like some combo of Briar. And then either Oldhim or a warrior or maybe both. And that brings me to my other part, which is like, there's not, in my opinion, there's not really like a true tempo in Flesh and Blood as much as it's...
Ira is a tempo deck.
So here's the thing. Some people say mid-range. I don't really like that terminology either. I like to think of it as like a switch hitter. It's just a deck that is capable of being defensive when it needs to and being offensive when it needs to, and it's just trying to maximize its value in any given
literally
turn.
Describing Ira.
I understand, but I'm because they use the word tempo, I'm trying to be educational here.
Okay.
Like, I'm not...
I'll let you go PBS.
Jumping ahead to the answer. I'm trying to explain why this is going to be the choice for said answer. So the answer is Ira. Like, I would get games on Ira. And then combo. It's probably Kano.
I think you should also play games on Enigma. Because they are opposite ends of the spectrum.
So here's
they play.
Yeah, they are. So here's where I am with that, though. I would rather create another Decimator warrior than I would another Enigma. So I was going to skip past Enigma.
I disagree.
I mean, you're allowed to be wrong.
No, I'm very... So are you. But I feel like if you want to understand the different ends of the building to a combo endgame spectrum, Kano does it sort of earlier. Enigma, you are grinding into a combo finish. So if you're looking for 4 heroes, though, I agree it should be Briar, a Decimator Warrior, probably Dorinthia, Ira, Kano. That's what I would build. If you want to learn it all, that's what I would build. Because that's as top heavy as it gets. Extra points, if you want to see how some other just complete and utter bullshit plays, KO, Enigma. Oldhim at some point, but Oldham's fine. Oldhim likes to fuck up Iris, turns out, because they have the Civic chess piece that gives them a vigor, and it makes it so they can't activate their Kodachis with Go Again, because you can't pitch. Because you have a resource.
Yeah, because
nice
pitching is hard.
Yeah, nice turn, dipshit. So that chess piece being a time walk against Ira is very funny. Now, 3 weeks to get competitive for Classic Constructed. Oh boy. That is a tall order. I would probably lean into learning Florian and Verdance. Would be the options I would consider. I think they play enough of the same types of cards, being Earth cards, really, that you really only have to spend the money for one to be able to build both, which is nice. The playstyles are somewhat different, and they have different ways that they adapt to games, so you kind of are able to just learn one set of cards for 2 different styles of play. So if you're trying to learn and be able to kind of switch into something a little more comfortable, depending on whatever that you think the metagame will be, I would learn those 2. I would spend basically all my time on Florian and Verdance right now. That way you don't have to spend the money to buy a Kasai deck, because ain't nobody got that. That's a lot of cash. Just going to put that out there.
I mean, you know what my advice is going to be, right?
Play Assassin?
Yep, learn Marionette.
Yeah, I mean, learning Marionette is very tunneled, but also very good. I can't...
Well, if they have a short period to get competitive, I would rather just give them something tunneled. And if they want good fundamentals, like Marionette is a flexible, like sometimes it blocks, sometimes it attacks.
Yeah,
back.
It's true.
Sometimes also an assassin.
Yeah, I understand where you're going with this. Last one's from Captive Goat. Flesh and Blood is basically just 1v1 MTG Commander, right? Both start at 40 life and with a color identity, except we just hide that color identity as class and talent. But saying I'm playing a warrior is functionally like saying I am playing Gruul. Our heroes are just the commanders, except they're always out. The only big differences is Highlander and the resources, but when you zoom out, it's basically just the commander formula, right? On the surface, sure. But the games are so radically different that the comparison breaks down almost instantaneously.
It breaks down at the fundamentals of the game, period. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, but the primary reason that I enjoyed Flesh and Blood when I was first picking it up, I'm going to say primary as if it's singular, but it's 2 individual things that are 2 sides of the same coin, and that same coin is that the game is just fundamentally different from Magic. So in Magic, you have 2 things that you're doing. You are potentially playing a game of attrition with your hand and your resources, because you have to draw both, and so you are incentivized to do things like draw cards, and that will also impact your consistency and so forth. The other thing that you are doing is you are progressively, in most cases, again, not saying every Magic guy plays the same, but the game is just designed at a base level to be progressive, meaning that you get stronger as the game goes on, right? When you have 2 lands, you're stronger than when you had 1, and when you have 3, you're stronger than you had 2, and so on and so forth. As the game goes on, you're just designed to get stronger. Now, decks will have different ceilings, but like that's the baseline. As a baseline design strategy for Flesh and Blood, Yes, there is still card draw, and you can sometimes eke advantage, but the core is centered around the 4-card hand every turn, and that the tension is created by the decisions of how to use those 4 cards, not how do I get more cards than my opponent, how do I win this game of attrition. Similarly, the design of Flesh and Blood is different because it is degenerative instead of progressive. You, for most heroes, start the game the strongest you will ever be. You have full equipment, you've got a full deck of cards, and as the game goes on, you, again, start losing your resources in the form of either blocking, or you play them and they get stuffed and you get close to fatigue, your armor breaks, you use your shots. Now, again, not every deck is the same way not every deck is the same in Magic. There are some decks that do get stronger, specifically the ally classes, right? They build a board state, but that is not the primary design for Flesh and Blood. So at its core, just the primary design of the games makes it so that other than like you're, built around a character and you start at 40 health, which also you don't always start at 40 health, mind you, with Flesh and Blood, because it's part of the character design. But other than that, like, those are really the only things in common. Like, literally at a fundamental level, the games are so different that I would never compare Flesh and Blood to Commander. I can think of many other card games that I think are closer to that experience. I would say Star Wars is a great example. Star Wars is closer to Commander than Flesh and Blood is, in my mind.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely correct. It's not even close. I don't know how else to even conceptualize it outside of what you already just said. It's coming from Magic. It is so radically, because for a lot of things, games are MTG clones, right? Like, that happens a lot. But one of the things that was a draw for Flesh and Blood from the start was that it was radically different. There wasn't anything like it. And there still isn't anything like it outside of, Flesh and Blood. So, yeah. Oh, wow, that can't be right. Oh, no, it is right. I'm in.
Are you playing Hacker Man?
Sort of.
I'm in.
All right. I think it's time to thank some patrons and get out of here. What do you think? Got anything else to say? Anything to get off your chest?
It's not Flesh and Blood related, but we're at the end of the show, so why not? 2 things. One, my wife and I will be in Vegas this upcoming weekend. So yet again, unfortunately, going to miss my local Sage PQ, but I'll be there for the regional qualifier for Riftbound. So if you see me walking around, because you also are somebody who plays Riftbound, then say hello. And also, I have not had a chance to watch yesterday's Raw, but I did see just through headlines or whatever that Bronson got hurt.
Tore bicep. Yep.
Yo, the Vision is cursed, man.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like,
they die a lot.
Like,
they're down to 2 dudes.
And that's after they added a dude because they lost a dude.
So many dudes, right.
Oh.
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough. It was one of those things. Like, so Bronson does the thing, he gets hurt, and he picks up his arm and he looks at it, and I'm just like, oh, that's a bicep. Yep. Oh, fuck.
I saw the clip. Like I said, I haven't watched Raw yet, but I saw the clip because I clicked on the article thing, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. Exactly. Like 100%. I had the same reaction, like and it doesn't hurt right away. And so I'm sure that's why he was like, all right, let's try to do this. Okay.
He took a couple more spots
because right away it doesn't click. The pain part anyway, at least for me. I don't know if it was shock or what, but like, it took a while before it really started to hurt. But I was like, oh, I know what that is immediately.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I don't know what they do from there, but I also, like, as I've been thinking about it, like, that spawned the thought of they need I hope personally that they do something where they just write Heyman off for a while, because I've realized that
they're just going to put him back with Brock.
Well, here's the thing. I realized that they've been in very confusing with him, because he comes out with Brock and he also comes out with a Vision, but they're not like at all associated with each other. And I'm just like, all that does to me is says the same thing I've said for forever, which is Brock is boring as hell. And even after all these years, he still comes out with Heyman because Brock is boring as hell. And I can't wait for Oba to retire this fool. Like,
I would, yes.
Make it happen yesterday.
I want Oba to kill him. But
speaking of Oba, what I've also decided is, hear me out. I'm going to fantasy book for a moment, which I know is like,
I love fantasy booking.
Every wrestling fan's nightmare when somebody says I'm going to fantasy book, but hear me out, okay? He's doing this like mini feud thing with Kit Wilson, and I love Kit Wilson right now as well.
He's just murdering Kit Wilson over and over again.
I also love the enemies to lovers trope for like wrestling, aka the like, you know, they're a tag team and how will they ever get along? I would love to see a situation where they're forced together as a tag team and they go on a tear, but through the entire thing, the tension, they never get along, and the tension is there because through the entire reign, what I want is Oba to start the match and they keep winning and he never tags in Kit. And then it's just Kit complaining that he's toxic and that, you know what I mean? Like, I think the two of them together is gold, and I would love an excuse to have that happen periodically. Like,
I would love for that to be the case for a while, and then once like Oba gets kind of mad at it, and so then he tags Kit and then picks him up and throws him like a lawn dart at somebody.
Right.
And just use him as a projectile. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, fucking shut up. I'm busy. Like, I'm in on this. I think this is great. You ready to thank some patrons now?
I am now, yeah.
All right,
I got that off my chest.
All right. We have our associate producers. We have Andy, Sindra, Anthony, Ejur, Jacob, Aladoris, Octothorptopus, Sofsky, Heiner, and Sleep Coma. We have our executive producers, Lance Good Thrust. He's back, baby.
Oh, baby.
We're back to thrusting good. It's been a while, but God, that felt good. Blaze Storm, value member of the Patreon. Diana the Green Cosplayer, John, Charlie, our Possum supporter, the Delusian Data Analyst. Then the Chargers Chamber of Charcoal, Vintox18, who will be guesting next week. Matt, you're welcome back whenever you want, buddy. The Jackal's back, baby. So we get the Jackal back. So pretty soon he'll be eligible to come on for his next stint. Brandon, you're welcome back on whenever. Dorte, the Hammer, best dude. Probably welcome back sometime soon. And then our ceiling fan Rich, who was supposed to be on this episode, but we'll have him pushed out a little bit. He's been dealing with a sick child and some other stuff. Let's hope everything's going well for our guy Rich. If you're interested in becoming a member of the Patreon, you go to patreon.com/fleshandpod. Link is in the show notes. There's some number of fucking tiers. Just pick one. It gets you, I don't know. You can get a playmat if you are in the Possum supporter or above. Just saying. And the playmats are sweet. We still have been very bad about doing After Darks. Completely bad. But hopefully we can change that sometime soon. If you need to contact us, you can send us an email at fleshandpod@gmail.com. You can also find us on BlueSky. Just search Flesh and Pod. Easiest thing, best thing, just join the Discord. It's free. There's a ton of good discussion lately in the Discord when it comes to things like Silver Age. Even in the other games channel right now, a lot of good board game talk. I did make a technology channel since I was starting to get flooded a little bit with tech inquiries once people figured out that I actually build my own machines and shit. Then there became questions. So I created a channel for that. There's also a channel for Chuckles with Charmer, which I'm going to click on it. I'm going to regret it. Here we go. Fuck you, Dom. Fuck you so much. First thing I see, in 3,024 years, life will either be really good or really bad. It's 50-50. Immediately hate everything.
Did you see the screenshot that I posted from a random Reddit that I'd found, and I was like, this is why I can't give up Reddit?
The idea of Caucasian Yoda always sends me. Is that the one?
Yeah, that one. So it starts with somebody posts that in Shrek, Donkey reveals that he's colorblind. This explains why he's not only afraid of why he's the only one not afraid of Shrek, since he sees him as just a normal guy with strange ears. And then somebody has like photoshopped Caucasian Shrek, like he just looks like a dude. And then somebody said, "Fun fact: I'm colorblind, and I do tend not to see green skin. Characters like Yoda, for example, just look Caucasian to me in terms of skin tone." And then somebody made a Caucasian Yoda. And then Greg said, "My grandma, God rest her soul, kind of looked like Caucasian Yoda." And here's the thing, mine definitely did. My grandma Oswald, like you put big ears on her, and that's her.
God, I can't. I gotta get away. I can't anymore. Oh my God.
It's the
Charmer,
place to be.
Charmer, where can they find you?
In the Chuckles with Charmer channel.
Sure can. Also
in the Fat Feedback channel.
I'm about to start appearing in the comments of Christina Mendez videos, but I think I'm a solid orbologist at this point.
I
went to the crow party, but
I am deep in that rabbit hole.
It's fucked, man.
I've decided that like I am dying for the Netflix documentary, so I accidentally started a cult.
Me look. Te gusta. Nice. Oh my God. It's just it's uncontrollable.
It is. It's like it is such a brainworm, man.
Ugh, because you just keep going next.
Yep.
Next. I'm gonna be an orbologist by the end of this. Next. And it's just I don't know. Like, it's exactly what I need to convince myself that I can get dumber. No matter how, no matter what, I can always get dumber. Well, I guess that's it for this week. I think that you're off next week then, correct? Because you'll be in Vegas?
Yes. So I will not be available till at least Monday.
And I will be gone. So we'll have a guest host for next week with me, and then the week after a guest host with Charmer and no me, which is wild if you think about it.
It is wild.
But thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And if you've gotten this far and you haven't fucking subscribed on YouTube, I don't know what to say. I guess I did my best. It wasn't good enough. I should pay for some engagement. That's what I should do, which is never happening. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And yeah, I'll talk to you next week. Charmer in a couple weeks. But until then, bye.